By the fall of 1983, network television was running on fumes. Cable was eating their lunch. HBO was peeling off audiences. Dallas was the #1 drama in America. Hill Street Blue was scooping up Emmys like Halloween candy, and every executive in Burbank was demanding their own version of one of those two shows. The results were spectacular, and by spectacular, I mean catastrophic. Today, we're counting down the 10 lowest-rated shows of the 1983 to 84 season. Big names, weirder premises, and the kind of confidence that only comes from never having to watch your own programming. Before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And stick around for number 1, the lowest rated show of the entire year, starring an actual Pro Football Hall of Famer. Let's start with number 10, Manimal, NBC.
She's staking out her territory. It's a good sign. It means that she's feeling comfortable here.
I think she realizes the two of you have a lot in common.
Okay, picture this. A wealthy professor by day, a Black Panther by night, solving crimes in New York City. This is Manimal, NBC's answer to a question absolutely nobody was asking. What if Dr. Dolittle had a badge? The show came from Glenn A. Larson, the same guy who gave us Battlestar Galactica and Knight Rider. So apparently, he looked at America in 1983 and decided we were ready for the Hawkman. Simon McCorkindale played Dr. Jonathan Chase, a wealthy professor of animal behavior who could shapeshift into any creature he chose. His regulars, Black Panther, Red-Tailed Hawk, the occasional snake. Melody Anderson played NYPD Detective Brooke McKenzie, who watched all this happen and somehow never asked the obvious follow-up question. William Conrad, the announcer of Rocky and Bullwinkle, narrated every episode like he was reading the Constitution at a state funeral. NBC scheduled the shows Fridays at 9 p.m. directly opposite Dallas. Picking a fight with J.R. Ewing in 1983 was like challenging Apollo Creed to a boxing match with one shoe on. The bigger problem? Each transformation scene ran nearly a full minute and recycled the exact same footage every week. By episode 3, you could time your bathroom break to the Panther. NBC pulled it after 4 regular episodes. 3 more burned off in December. 8 total. TV Guide later ranked it in the 15th worst TV shows of all time. But honestly, people still talk about Manimal. Sometimes being the absolute worst is its own kind of immortality. Number 9, 2 Marriages, ABC.
What a question, Eric. I'm not about to get divorced. I love your daddy and I love our family.
ABC's experiment in answering the question, what if we did Knots Landing but set in Iowa, and made sure nobody watched. 2 Marriages premiered August 23, 1983 as a 4-episode preview. Then ABC pulled it. 6 months later, they put it back on for 6 more episodes. Then they pulled it again. 2 cancellations in a single season is honestly an achievement. The show was created by Carol Sobieski, who wrote the 1982 Annie movie, and produced by Lorimar, the studio behind Dallas. The premise: 2 neighboring families in the heartland. The Dailies, Tom Mason as Jim, a dairy farmer, and Karen Carlson as Anne, a construction engineer. The Armstrongs next door, Michael Murphy as Dr. Art and Janet Aylber as Nancy, who envied Anne's career. Suburban, earnest, completely forgettable. What's not forgettable is the supporting cast. C. Thomas Howell, the same year he co-starred in The Outsiders, played the rebellious stepson, and Kirk Cameron, 2 years before Growing Pains turned him into a Tiger Beat cover, played the kid next door. ABC clearly didn't believe in it. They dumped 4 episodes in August with no promotion, yanked it for half a season, then quietly aired the rest. The show tied for 92nd in the Nielsen rankings. Impressive considering most viewers didn't know it existed. Kirk Cameron landed Growing Pains in the next fall and never looked back. The show looked back and it cried. Number 8, Bay City Blues, NBC. 2 years after Hill Street Blues redefined prestige television, NBC went back to Stephen Bochco and said, "Do that again, please." Bochco listened. Then he delivered a hard-hitting, gritty ensemble drama about minor league baseball. Bay City Blues premiered October 25, 1983, Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. NBC was extremely excited. The audience was not. The show followed the Bay City Bluebirds, a struggling California minor league team. Michael Nouri, fresh off Flashdance, played the manager. Pat Curley played the team owner, and the supporting cast is genuinely one of the most stacked benches in 80s TV trivia. Dennis Franz, a decade before 4 Emmys for NYPD Blue. Sharon Stone, 8 years before Basic Instinct. Ken Olin, 3 years before 30-something, and Michael T. Williamson, 11 years before he'd play Bubba in Forrest Gump. Why didn't it work? Turns out the Hill Street formula didn't translate to a sport where most of the action happens in the dugout. NBC scheduled it opposite ABC's Heart to Heart and CBS's Tuesday Night Movie. Premiere ratings were weak. The audience shrank every quarter hour. NBC pulled the show after 4 episodes. The remaining 4 got burned off the next summer. Bochco recovered. LA Law in 1986, NYPD Blue in 1993. Bay City Blues remains his only true flop, the TV equivalent of a Hall of Fame slugger striking out swinging in Little League. Number 7, The Rousters, NBC.
I knew you were a good old boys. Just happened to have a couple of registration cards right here.
What do you get when you cross the Stephen J. Cannell action show with a carnival sideshow and Wyatt Earp family tree? You get The Rousters, NBC's incredibly confident answer to a question even the carnival barkers wouldn't have asked. The show premiered October 1, 1983, Saturday nights at 9 p.m., head-to-head with ABC's The Love Boat. The NBC promotional tagline was, and I quote, "The Rousters are gonna sink the Love Boat." Spoiler, they did not. Stephen J. Cannell, the guy behind the A-Team and the Rockford Files, created and executive produced. He had a Hall of Fame career. This was not part of it. Chad Everett, the former medical center, played Wyatt Earp III, an embarrassed great-great-grandson of the lawman working as a bouncer at the Slade Town Carnival. Hoyt Axon, who wrote 3 Dog Nights, Joy to the World, played carnival owner Cactus Jack Slade. Jim Varney, 4 years before Ernest made him an American institution, played Wyatt's brother, and Mimi Rogers, the same year she co-starred in Risky Business, played Ellen Slade. 13 episodes ordered, 6 aired before NBC pulled the plug, 7 burned off next summer. The Love Boat sailed on for 4 more seasons. Number 6, Mr. Smith, NBC.
Hope they let you stay here after I'm gone. I bet you'd miss it if you had to give it up.
A talking orangutan with a 256 IQ becomes the secret political advisor to the President of the United States. That is the actual logline. NBC said yes to this, voluntarily. Mr. Smith premiered September 23, 1983, Fridays at 8 p.m. 13 episodes. Created by Stan Daniels and Ed Weinberger, the team behind multiple Emmy-winning seasons of The Mary Tyler Moore Show and Taxi. So you can clearly see what happens when very talented people get very confident. The title was a direct play on the 1939 Frank Capra film Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, except instead of Jimmy Stewart, the title role was played by CJ, a real orangutan who had previously co-starred in 2 Clint Eastwood movies, Every Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can. The plan was for Wallace Shawn to voice the orangutan. He pulled out, reportedly because he did not want his last credit if he died during production to be a talking ape. Ed Weinberger ended up voicing the role himself. Tim Dunnigan played the original trainer. Leonard Frey played the Washington secretary. Stuart Margolin played the scientist who created the genius IQ formula. The show debuted to weak ratings. Ratings got worse. NBC canceled it after 13 episodes. Bananas were involved. Genius was not. Quick pause. We're halfway through. Drop a comment and let us know which of these 1983 disasters you actually remember. And if you're enjoying this trip down memory cancellation lane, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. Coming up in the back half, an officer and a gentleman rip off with no gentleman. A young Alec Baldwin making his network primetime debut, and the man who built Saturday Night Live trying to redo it from scratch and failing in spectacular fashion. Number 5. For Love and Honor, NBC.
I want you to play any games with me.
I'd like to.
In the summer of 1982, An Officer and a Gentleman became one of the highest grossing films of the year and won 2 Oscars. NBC took one look at that success and decided, let's do that, but every week and worse. For Love and Honor premiered September 23, 1983, Friday nights with a 2-hour pilot and a 13-episode order. The show was set at the fictional Fort Keller, Texas, home of the 88th Airborne Division, a peacetime paratrooper battalion. Each episode followed the instructors training the next generation of soldiers, alongside the personal lives of the officers and recruits. The cast was loaded. Cliff Potts played the wise old sergeant. Yaphet Kotto, who had played Parker in Alien and Kananga in Live and Let Die, played his fellow training NCO. Gary Grubbs played the racist commanding officer because every 1983 military drama needed exactly one. Rachel Ticotin, fresh off Fort Apache and the Bronx, played a corporal. Kelly Preston, 8 years before she'd married John Travolta, played a recruit's girlfriend. And in his first major TV role, Keenan Ivory Wayans, 6 years before he'd create In Living Color, played a private named Duke Johnson. The cast was great. The show was not. NBC pulled it after 3 months. Final episode aired January 15, 1984. Number 4. Cutter to Houston, CBS.
Please confirm medical diagnosis of patient en route by light flight helicopter.
Roger, Cutter. We'll advise you.
CBS looked at the success of St. Elsewhere and Trapper John MD in 1983 and thought, let's do another medical drama, but small town and Texan, and put it on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. The Saturday 8 p.m. slot is what historians call the time slot of immediate death. CBS knew that. CBS did it anyway. Cutter to Houston premiered October 1, 1983. The show was set at Cutter Community Hospital in the fictional town of Cutter, Texas, with constant helicopter transports to Houston when things got serious. Shelley Hack played the ambitious surgeon, Jim Metzler played the idealistic GP, and the third lead was a 25-year-old newcomer named Alec Baldwin, in his very first network primetime role playing a doctor on probation for writing illegal prescriptions. Yes, that Alec Baldwin. CBS pulled the show after 4 episodes. 3 more aired through December. 2 never aired at all. Baldwin went on to Knots Landing the next year, then The Hunt for Red October, Beetlejuice, Working Girl, and 30 Rock. Cutter to Houston is where it all started. Number 3. Like Men, NBC. NBC's mid-season drama about 2 college guys moonlighting as gophers for a bail bondsman, Legmen premiered January 20, 1984, Friday nights as part of the same disaster slate that ate The Master and The New Show. The NBC Friday lineup in early 1984 was essentially the Bermuda Triangle of network television, created by Bill Dial and Andrew Mirisch, with Universal Television producing. The setup, engineering student Jack Gage and law student David Taylor worked part-time for the shady TriStar bail bonds, dodging gangsters and stumbling into weekly chaos. Bruce Greenwood, in his first major TV lead, played Jack. John Terlesky played David. NBC let the 8-episode order run out and quietly waved goodbye. Final episode aired March 16, 1984. Greenwood went on to play President Kennedy in 13 Days and Captain Christopher Pike in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek films. Terlesky became one of the most prolific TV directors of the 21st century. The legwork paid off, just not for the show. Number 2. The New Show, NBC.
Joyce, you want to answer that?
You're supposed to be the man of the house, Bob. You do.
No, if you're smart.
In January 1984, Lorne Michaels came back to network television. The man who created Saturday Night Live in 1975 have left after 5 seasons, walked away from the chaos of live TV, and decided it was time for a comeback. His pitch? Do SNL again, but pre-recorded with no live audience, no host of the week, and no 90-minute format. Just an hour of polished sketch comedy. The New Show premiered on NBC January 6, 1984, Fridays at 10 p.m. The lineup was loaded. Buck Henry, Dave Thomas from SCTV, Valerie Bromfield, Jeff Goldblum. Guest hosts included Steve Martin, Paul Simon, Penn & Teller, John Candy, and Gilda Radner. Steve Martin's Billie Jean parody on the premiere is still the most cited moment from the run. Turns out, taking the live audience and the host of the week chaos out of SNL is like taking the cheese off pizza. It just becomes warm bread. The show finished 1983 to 84 as the lowest rated of all 94 primetime programs. NBC canceled it after 9 episodes. But the failure taught Michaels exactly what he could not change about SNL. He returned to Saturday Night Live in fall 1985 and never left again. At number 1, Father Murphy, NBC.
Perhaps you don't consider buying a woman to be out-and-out slave.
And here we are at number 1, the lowest rated show of the entire 1983 to 84 season, a 6.2 Nielsen rating, 101st out of 101 shows. The lead, a Pro Football Hall of Famer playing a frontier priest. Merlin Olsen had spent 15 seasons as a defensive tackle for the Los Angeles Rams. He was a member of the fearsome foursome alongside Deacon Jones, Rosie Greer, and Lamar Lundy. 14-time Pro Bowler, Pro Football Hall of Fame 1982, then he retired, got into acting, and landed a recurring role on Little House on the Prairie. Michael Landon liked him so much, he built a spin-off around him. That spin-off was Father Murphy. Olsen played John Michael Murphy, an 1870s frontier miner who poses as a Catholic priest to protect a group of orphans. It premiered November 3, 1981, as a 2-hour pilot written and directed by Landon. The show ran 34 episodes over 2 seasons. Then NBC moved it to Sunday nights opposite 60 Minutes. Olsen later told UPI that move killed the show. The final episode aired September 18, 1983. From the Pro Football Hall of Fame to a frontier priest to eventually the FTD florist, spokesman of the 1980s and 1990s. The most American career arc on this entire list. So there you have it. 10 television casualties from 1983 to 84. Manimal turning into a panther, Mr. Smith advising the president, Lorne Michaels trying to bottle his own lightning, and Merlin Olsen, NFL Hall of Famer, playing a frontier priest at the bottom of the ratings. The same season gave us Dallas at the top, American television in 1 year, the brilliant and the absolutely cursed side by side. Until next time, this is Curtain Cut.